Hello, everyone. It's been quite a while, even though um, we're at the time where I haven't posted other episodes, so it wasn't really that long ago to you guys. Welcome back to the Horror Cabin Podcast, a show where we talk about all things horror. I'm your host, as always, Rojo the Demon Wolf, and um, with me, as always, good sidekick buddy of mine. We got Immortus The Wendigo. How you doing?
Hey, pretty good, pretty good.
Pretty good,
These
yeah.
topics are pretty fun, man.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. It took me a while to even when I was putting out the list of like ideas for episodes, of like things that we could talk about. It took a while for me to, you know, put those up. Um
Yeah.
Once again you might notice that Tay again isn't here with us just like the last episode. And she is feeling better, because last time she wasn't feeling well, so she couldn't really join in the podcast. This time it's because, work got in the way pretty much. It's been poo poo pee pee really. That's her words that she said that. Um so once again it's just the two of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I keep forgetting I need to silence my phone and also put up the timer so that I know when we have to go on to the next segment. You think 7 episodes in I would remember to do that. Um Not the case. No. And I don't know if you guys can notice, but I have a new mic. I don't know if there's like a sound difference compared to the other one I had because they both did sound good. This one, however, I'm able to control it better, at least volume wise. So I already love this one. The fact that this was like a Christmas present, all thanks to my father, who also got me a video camera. So I'm excited to use that at some point. What I and what I didn't like was this soundboard that came with this mic. This thing's a piece of shit. I don't want this anymore, but I'm gonna keep it around in case it works on other devices. It just doesn't work for mine. So yeah, basically new mic, same soundboard, whatever works. That reminds me. How was your holiday, Immortus?
It was good. I got some funny stuff, got some good stuff. It's not always about like getting people stuff. It's just
Yeah,
having family and everything there. You know what I mean?
it's
That's how I
disgusting.
see
It's
Christmas, yeah.
it's disgusting to some. I get it, but that's pretty much the it's
Yeah.
true meaning, as everyone says. There's a lot of true meanings at this point. It's like I can't really tell the difference anymore. Christmas time,
Yeah.
New Year's, hell, even Thanksgiving, surprisingly, even Black Friday. Just it's just all about being there with the family. Um,
True.
you know. But holidays are done, which means family time is over. But good thing they'll always stick around for next year, unless they're gone. All right, let's get on with the topics.
Yeah.
So for the first one, you might have remembered that in the previous episodes we talked about haunted areas, both in the U.S. and also around the world in different countries. Um, this time, however, we're not going to talk about haunted areas, even though some of the areas we might talk about could, be haunted. There's a lot of places, so you might
Yeah.
notice that a lot of haunted areas were also abandoned areas. Some of them is because they're haunted, but the ones we're going to talk about isn't because they're haunted. It's because of other stuff that happens. Immortus, I'm going to pass this to you because you say you have a lot of areas in your area.
Oh yeah. So yeah, this one in Wisconsin, man, there whew. So you got abandoned places, Northridge Mall. This one I know about. This one's actually kind of sad because a lot of malls are doing this now too. It opened in 1972. Had big name stores like J.C. Penney, Sears, Boston Store. I had like the little small outlets on each,
Like those anchor stores.
area. hmm
Yeah.
And it kind of just crime was on the rise and property value fell. Basically, they were people were scared to go because of the crime rate, and it kind of just the failure, recession, and it just in 2019, a maintenance contractor was actually electrocuted to death while inspecting
Jesus.
a fuse box in the mall, and they said screw it, we're done. And basically, it's owned by a Chinese investment firm. Um, The mall is used for airsoft tournaments,
Wait, what?
but otherwise it's abandoned. So I don't know why you'd want to go there when someone actually died there, and you're just like, oh, let's go. Let's use their BB guns and go shoot around, bro.
Wait,
Someone died here. Come
wait.
on.
So it's abandoned, but it's also used for airsoft battles.
Yeah.
I I don't know whose bright idea that was, but oh my god.
And there's another one too. I'll do another one because that one was short.
Hey, take as much time as you need because there's only two of us now, so you know.
Let's do the University of Wisconsin. The tunnels are abandoned. So basically, it was in the it's been used in the late 1800s. Obviously, tunnels are used for heat and cooling, everything like that. Um, now it's just filled with confetti, or not confetti, graffiti. Sorry.
There's a party down there.
No, I mean, well, if you want to go in there, but they said if you keep going down there, once you see more graffiti, that's when you have to go because there's people in there that sleep and they're homeless, and there's people that could come after you, and basically it's illegal to enter. Um, Obviously, if you want to live there, you can, but I wouldn't recommend because the tunnels get hot because all the steam on the pipes. So
Oh, that's fun.
yeah, there's a drain, the Honey Creek drains.
The drains. Huh?
It's literally the same thing as the tunnels. Um, let's go to
If you're thinking of,
Milwaukee.
if you're thinking of catacombs, no, we're not talking about those. It, like literally just
No.
it's like equivalent to like a sewage tunnel, I would say, like something like that, or like if you go under a bridge.
Yeah. The Milwaukee factory was built in 1800. It had gasoline engines, lawnmowers, everything. I remember this. 1971, the factory closed. Manufacturing was moved.
Your kid is just
they moved to
screaming in the
Kentucky.
background.
I know. Son of a bitch. Manufacturing was moved to facilities in Kentucky. They just sold it and everything like that, and just gave up. There's a lot of businesses that happened, just kind of closed doors, But that's about it for Wisconsin. I mean, there's a
Like they didn't file for bankruptcy.
list.
They just closed out of nowhere. Like they just decided.
Yeah, because I don't know. It just didn't really work out, I guess.
Damn.
So they moved to the south and just.
Well,
That's
sucks for those
about
guys.
it that I got.
All right. Well, I do remember an area. I don't know if it was like really abandoned or if it just has like really low population, I would say, but you remember Silent Hill,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So, there was a town in Pennsylvania. I forgot like where exactly it was, but it was it was like one of those, towns that has like a coal mine, I would say. Like one of those coal mining towns. And there was an incident that happened that I don't remember what it was. I think it was something like there was an incident in the coal mine where like I think it was like both the workers got trapped and then there was like something like a poisonous gas that was coming out of the mine or something like that. Where basically it was an incident that everyone had to evacuate the town and no one could go back because of that incident that happened. Like I said, I don't remember what exactly because I don't have it popped up. It wasn't the one I was going to talk about at first. But I figured because it's an abandoned area, I figured I'd talk about it. If you were to go to that town right now, you would see like a lot of fog and to the point where your visibility would not be clear. And that's only if you're in the town. So a lot of people have said that this Pennsylvania town was basically the Silent Hill town, as everyone called it. Just minus minus the sirens that go off and like all the demonic shit that happens and all the monsters, especially Pyramid Head. If he existed, then we would all be screwed.
Oh yeah.
But the one I'm going to talk about instead, this is really loud in my ears when I did that. What I'm going to talk about instead is called Hashima Island, which is on Nagasaki, Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the sadly one of the areas that basically um I think this was before. Was this before? No, this was after it got bombed. Okay, cool. So, if you guys remember Nagasaki, World War II, the way it ended, we dropped, two atomic bombs, one on Hiroshima and the other one on Nagasaki. And one of those unfortunate islands was Hashima Island. Basically, it's an abandoned mining island. You know, so like how I remember when I talked about the town in Pennsylvania that has like a coal mine. This one was like has a bunch of industrial sites. Like this island was made for like mining and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
and let's just say that even before the incident, you know how a lot of Japanese people have those grueling work hours?
Yeah.
Yeah. This was basically one of them. And yeah, so the reason why it was abandoned, this was in the 1960s. So the reason why it was abandoned was because coal mines in general were just shutting down across all of Japan. Like the same way how there was a bunch of malls around the US that are closing down and being abandoned, this was one of them. And because the whole island was used for mining, no one is just on that island anymore. And if you were to go there now, there are a bunch of buildings that are still there. They're just, overgrown vegetation, which is something you'll expect when an area has been abandoned for long enough.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was. I don't know if this was the same mine. No, it's not. I'm thinking of the power plant that exploded in Japan. That's the one I'm thinking of. It basically the Japan basically had their own like Chernobyl thing that happened. Um, I don't think it was as destructive as Chernobyl because there are people still close to that area, but that's pretty much all
Yeah.
I got for this island. It's pretty short on my case, but so like I said, that's all I got so far. I don't know. What's your take on Hishima Island?
What's my take?
Yeah. Even though I didn't really talk much about it, like what did you think
Um,
about it?
sad what happened. You know. Um, that's all I really got right now. Sorry.
It's like it's almost feels like we got those first day jitters because like by the time we're recording this, the last time we recorded this was um like a week before Christmas. So that's how long it's been pretty much. Um
Oh yeah.
yeah. According to what Google here is saying, visitors towards overgrown industrial sites, semi-ruined concrete workers' quarters, and a so-called stairway to hell. Okay. So
Jeez.
I'm guessing when this shut down, the men that were stuck there were so happy, you know. Oh my god. And you know what? This island. Here's a little fun fact before we move on. A little fun fact about this island. The James Bond film Skyfall used part of the island. Well, it was partly set on the island. It says. I don't know if they actually used the island for their film, but it's a James Bond film, so they probably got the money somewhere. Anyways, let's move on to the next one before we bore our viewers and all that stuff. Immortus, you might like this one. This next one we're going to talk about. Seeing as you're the man that likes knowing about the crazy stuff that people do. Exactly. What your kid said.
Oh my
Exactly.
goodness.
Huh?
No, it's just oh my goodness. I'm trying to like. She don't listen.
Yeah. All right. So what we're talking about right now are cults. Obviously, we don't have to explain like what cults are, right, to some people, since
I mean, yeah.
basically, if you're a fanatic and you happen to be in a group that are full of fanatics, mostly the ones that believe in your cause, you have a cult, you know? And I don't mean like cult
Yeah.
classic, music and all that stuff. No, I'm talking about like people would literally do anything for you if you're like, they would see you as their leader, pretty much.
Right. Yeah.
And I want to start with you, Immortus, because the one I heard that you wanted to talk about was something that I remember hearing about. So go ahead, it's all yours.
All right, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna fucking do it. All right, we're gonna do Heaven's Gate. It was founded by Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles. Interesting names, last names. Um, 1970s, Heaven's Gate was a cult that had believing of aliens, spaceship, and somewhat of God,
Yeah.
and recycling of the planet Earth. There's a speech on it, but I can't find it. He took the group even further to extremes in 1997. He claimed that there was a spacecraft following, and it would carry the Heaven's Gate members into the next level of existence. So basically, they lived in a home in San Diego, and everybody, 38 followers, died by suicide by taking some phenobarbital mixed with applesauce. It's probably some toxic. I don't know what it is. They
Probably.
all wore the same uniform. Um, the Heaven's Gate still exists and
Ooh.
is maintained by two of the group's followers. No way. If you want to know more about this, look up it on Max or HBO.
Oh,
Dude,
so it
what
actually
the
made a show of
actual
that?
hell? Seriously, it's still going on then?
Really?
What the fudge?
Oh my
All right.
god. Live
Well, yeah, like the
reaction.
thing is too, like I never wanted. Okay, I might remember the speech. God is with us or something like that, and he's like, "It is time to take into action, belong with us, recycle the earth with us," and it was like a weird speech, and like the guy would look at the camera, like just spaced out. He had to be on something, man.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
Like I can maybe find the speech, but it's really disturbing.
I mean, if not, the
um,
people can probably find it somewhere on the internet, you know?
but yeah, if you guys want me to play it, I can. If not, that's fine. You can always look it up on the
Yeah.
internet, and it
Um,
is disturbing.
yeah, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't there a website that was based on Heaven's Gate or like some other cult that was like related to that? Didn't someone make a website of that?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
Oh,
We're going to talk to you about the most urgent thing that is on our mind, and what we suspect is the most urgent thing on the minds of those who will connect with us. We'll title this tape Planet Earth About to be Recycled. Your only chance to evacuate is to leave with us. Planet Earth about to be recycled. Your only chance to survive or evacuate is to leave with us.
All right, that's half of that. I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but
yeah.
that's a bit of pieces of it. Yeah, the man, his facial expressions. He's just like his eyes are like dilated. He's all like weirded out. He's like bald and old.
Bald and old. As if that's a
Yeah,
problem.
so he's basically telling people to leave, otherwise Earth is being recycled. Come with us. Like it was a weird call. I remember hearing about it on TV one day, and I'm just like, whoa, what the hell? And it's
Whoa.
still going on, I guess. Two members are maintaining the site, I guess.
Well then.
Didn't say who it was, but yeah, there's that.
You know, so I don't want to get
Jeez.
like I don't want to get like religious and all that stuff, but don't we have something like in the Bible that mentioned about, you know, the world basically God resetting the world, you know, when he sends out the four horsemen of the apocalypse or something. And the only way to save yourself from it is to be rid of your sins and join the, you know, Christianity and all that stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, that alone sounded like a cult on its own. It seems like
Man, it's
Heaven's
just so
it seems like Heaven's Gate had that same idea, but less religious and more extraterrestrial, I would say.
yeah, like it was. The interviews are just disturbing, man. Like Like this man was just like all for it. Like he's just all happy, and I'm like, dude, you just killed like 38 people in your cult.
30 people?
He's like,
Wait.
I'm gonna drink this. Boop. Okay.
Oh, everyone's dead. All right. They all flop to the
There's,
ground.
there's another cult I could talk about. It's still active today.
Go ahead.
It is called Order of the Solar Temple, founded in Switzerland, 1984, by Joseph de Membro. I probably butchered that.
Oh, not
And
the
Luc
Swiss.
Jure. The Order of the Solar Temple traced its roots to the medieval Knight Templars, but also thought the world would end in 1990. Things took a worse for the turn in 1994 when de Membro reportedly ordered the murder of an infant in Quebec.
Oh.
Later that year, more than 50 members of the group were murdered or died by suicide, and the group's buildings were destroyed by fire. Additional people died in 1985 and 1997. Widely enough, the Order of the Solar Temple still remains and boasts several hundred members.
And they're still active.
Yep.
Oh my god. They thought the world will end in 1990. That's hilarious because we had people here in the US that, and this is before I was born, people thought that the world will end in 2000. Then again in 2012. Man, end of the world prophecies. Can't wait to talk about that soon, you know.
Like cults, like I'm gonna give a small definition of it, I guess.
Yep.
It just takes one person to be loud in the room, and then they can just brainwash all these people, man. Like it's insane how cults can just go out of their way and just make people like mesmerized, but they're like hypnotized in like this weird state, man. Like how do you make all these people believe in your false beliefs? You know what I mean? It's just crazy. The cults are just gonna be a thing. They're still gonna go on for eons, even.
Didn't the
like,
novel?
what if the world like?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What if the world like blows up, and like there's cults? There's always gonna be that weird apocalypse cult. You know what I mean? There's always gonna be cults back in the day. It's just the secret society, like Bohemian Grove. That's even our own politicians, like.
And they're going to continue to exist.
I don't want to keep going into this.
Yeah. All right.
Me and my buddy were getting high last night, and we were just talking about this stuff, like the end of the world philosophies, like the world is run by Rothschild, the dark government, like cults and this and that.
Jesus,
like,
you
just keep going on and
you
on,
had
dude.
Wait, you guys had a whole list of conspiracy theories. Holy shit!
Oh, it was ridiculous. This is stuff to talk about when you're really high.
Oh,
in
yeah.
case you guys wonder, don't be sober while talking about this. When you're high, your brain just like goes into detail. I don't know what it is, but that's where I think I'm gonna stop with the cults for now.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think it's where I think I'm gonna move on from that.
Yeah, so the funny thing is that
Jeez.
my family and I would talk about something like that, and we didn't even have to get high or drunk to talk about it. It's just how our brain works, really, you know. Especially my mother when it comes well, not my mother actually. One of her stepbrothers is a conspiracy nut job, basically.
Oh,
and one of those things he would talk about is that there's some secret cult that runs the government. You know, like the shadow government, I think, and you know, some people call it, you know. We're not talking about conspiracy theories, though. We're talking about cults. And the cult that I'm going to talk about, people might be familiar with this one. It's called People's Temple. And a lot of people would only know one thing about this group, and that's Jim Jones himself. You know? Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
This cult was a thing. This is one of the cults that is no longer a thing. But I mean, I don't know. People still try to do the same thing that this guy did, but you know, like you said, one crazy person could try to influence so many others. Oh yeah, I was trying to ask a question before. The novel Lord of the Flies isn't that what the novel was talking about? You know, like all it takes is like one person to just like, you know, have the power to brainwash others or something like that.
Pretty much, yeah.
I haven't read the novel, but I heard it was something like that before. You know, I could be wrong, you know, just, you know.
Right.
Anyways, Jim Jones. This guy basically this one was like a more religious community cult, you know. It was around in 1931, and then it pretty much, I don't know if I would say disbanded, but they stopped being around in 1978. And let's just say it, he had a lot of followers, most of them being African Americans, actually.
Oh, wow.
And he inspired the ideals of a just society that could overcome the evils of racism and poverty. So you think that,
Right.
this, because of that, that's good. Racism and you is bad,
Oh yeah.
sounds like a good, decent guy.
Right.
And this was around and this is like, especially around the 1960s when there was a lot of racism. I mean, there was a lot of racism back
Oh,
then,
yeah.
but the 1960s is when it was at its peak, pretty much. And I don't mean that in a good way. Just letting you know, I don't mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
But basically, let's see. The People's Temple was affiliated in 1960 with the Christian Church. And then 4 years later, Jones was ordained, basically. So this guy was making a name for himself because of this group.
Yeah.
And we're basically gonna go. We're gonna skip to the ending, and this is where I say that a lot of people know about this group, because you might notice that I mentioned about Jim Jones, and then there was this thing called the Jonestown Massacre.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
what happened here was that he gathered about 900 people. There was like 900 people within this group that that Jim Jones made. And he basically brought out the Kool-Aid that people would drink at the same time, by the way. And he put in cyanide and other, poisonous chemicals in the Kool-Aid. Everyone drank, everyone passed out, everyone died. And I think that included Jim Jones himself. I'm not sure. But it was basically that brought an end to the People's Temple cult. And I find this one fascinating because the leader, and this is something that a lot of cults would, have this kind of leader. And this is basically how you would brainwash people. You basically just agree with the people that they're talking about, and you show them that you would have the power to make the bad things end. Or at least you make them believe that you could do that. And then a lot of people would love you, would respect you, and when you have enough members, you just kill them off. This is why a lot of people would say that this is a suicide, which is pretty much what it was, because everyone, like, he didn't force them to drink the Kool-Aid. They decided to do it with them. They consented to doing this. So the fact that it says it was a Jonestown massacre, it was really more of like a suicide,
Yeah.
And I don't, and now that I say suicide, I don't know if YouTube would allow this, like the word at least. If not, then you'll hear a bunch of bleeps and stuff. But that's the one thing I find. That's my cult, really. Good.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I hate to butt in. Like, it's cool you picked this. Well, it's not cool, but it's it's cool you picked it because it's like this man. Like I said, it takes one powerful person. Look at Hitler. It took one powerful man to rule the whole world.
Oh,
almost. Yeah. Like I looked at the recordings of the Jones. It's very disturbing, man. Oh my god.
It really is.
Like, you can hear a baby crying, and you heard a gunshot because he, took his life, and
Yep.
it's horrifying because there's a baby crying, and then you have all these people like freaking out, like what's going on, and then you got some people cheering. It's disturbing, man. And you can hear him talking and everything. It's just like, bro. Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I want to go back to that Heaven's Gate thing real quick. Was that the cult where we saw the image of the bunk beds that people would lay in, and it would be their deathbeds?
Mm-hmm. Because they think they would go on beyond Earth.
Yep. It's insane how people could easily fall for something like this. It's actually terrifying on its own. Like, not just the cults,
Oh, yeah.
themselves, but like the fact that you could easily fall for this one person, and you wouldn't be the only one. There would be so many others that would fall for the same trap, and then
Yep.
it could end. Like, in the end, it could cost your life. You know?
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. Now, not every cult is like that. You know, like
No.
like Immortus says. You know, there are cults out there that are more like a secret society kind of thing. Even though some people
Yeah.
would basically call them cults, they don't really do anything life threatening. It's just they're like the seeker of knowledge that not everyone would have access to. That kind of stuff.
Yep.
So
Freemasons, the Skull and Bones Society. I can keep going.
oh yeah, especially the Freemasons. Now I have respect for those guys because
There is. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
no,
I'm so
keep
sorry.
going, keep going.
Dude, I found a Freemason place out in my old town. I saw the symbol on this building, and I looked out the window. Like, when I was, like, at a friend's house, I literally see a black curtain just move, and all the lights were turned off.
Ooh.
You have to actually have, like, some certain... Oh, man, I'm putting myself out there. You have to have, like a clearance, man. Like, I was looking at the door, and I you not, sorry, you can bleep that out. I saw the door, and I'm like, there's shutters. Like, what? Like, the facility, like, there's like an alarm. If you go in, everything shuts down. The power shuts down. It's weird.
Wow.
So I was like really curious. So there was like, I saw one light on. I was like hiding in a bush. I think I was like 16 at the time. Yeah, dude, I was hiding in the bush, man. I see, it's like 9 o'clock at night, I see one light go on. I see this door, like this metal black door. And I just see like this red, like those alarms like they have on like cop cars.
Yeah.
When it opens up, it's got like this weird like card that goes through the door, and you open it, and you just see the red light going on, but it doesn't make sound. But if it's like someone else going in there, it goes off and it shuts down. So this guy had like medals and like this weird jacket and everything, like a staff even. And I just see the door open. I took a peek. I saw like 20 people in like a circle. And right as that door closed, everything else closed.
Wow.
It was weird, man. I'm like, okay, that's something.
That's a freaky shit, honestly.
It was weird. I ran, dude, because I don't know. They were like, one of them was looking out the window, and they just like pointed. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh.
So yeah, pretty sad experience. Scary, everything.
Did they catch you like when you peeked? Like, did they catch you at all?
No, one of them pointed and then just like shut the door and like had like these black curtains and just it was weird, man.
Wow.
Like I literally just had to like run home because I didn't know what was gonna happen. You just don't know, like I don't know, man.
Because it's such a
it's
such a mystery, but you don't know like if it's a mystery that could basically endanger yourself, And dude, peeking like just like spying on like on cults, whether they're dangerous or not, you're pretty much putting your life at risk just doing that,
Right, because they never thought they're like, okay, let's just have like these curtains open, nobody's gonna see us. I'm like walking down the street and they look and pointed and they shut the curtains. They're pitch black and then they keep them curtains up now.
Yeah.
You can see light, but you can't see them.
That's
so I don't know if it's still going on today. I don't know, but I figured I'd tell you that because that was.
I'm sure if they did,
it was like.
I'm sure if they did, then they would have to change locations because I'm sure someone had to have done the same thing that you did, and they got caught.
Yeah. One more thing. It's gonna be quick. I should have told you guys. It was a brick and mortar. It was a brick and mortar building. So in case you're wondering, it was like a 6 foot fucking brick and mortar building. So in case anybody knows. All right, we could probably move on to goals now. We talked a lot about it.
If you want to know the address, it's right here. No.
No. Oh yeah. Here you can explore this place. I don't even know if it's still going on. Honestly.
Yeah.
As far as my knowledge. But
Yeah, so not every cult is basically not every cult is dangerous. Like Freemasons, they're only there like a secret knowledge society. But then you got people that
yeah,
we talked about, Heaven's Gate, the People's Temples, where people end up getting killed and all that stuff. Not all of them are
yeah.
dangerous, but there are some that could end your life. So
Oh
if
yeah.
you are in a cult, let's hope you remain alive. You know.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
the only kind of cult that I'll deal with are horror lovers. So, that's the cult I wouldn't mind being in. As long as there's like no actual sacrifices happening, I should be fine.
Sacrifice, sacrifice,
Sacrifice. All right.
sacrifice.
Anyways, now we move on to the final segment, and this is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. Once again, haunted areas do tie into this one, but we're mostly gonna stick with paranormal investigators, And I don't mean anyone
Yeah.
specific. I'm talking just those guys in general. And we'll basically just get together and just talk about, the stuff that they do, the technology they have, and maybe even talk about like, some of their experiences in different haunted areas. Like the ones that we talked
Ooh.
about from the second episode.
Oh, I'm glad we're on this one.
Yeah. So
Oh.
So Immortus, let me ask you something. When it comes to paranormal investigators, how much do you know about it?
Yeah. Well, like they got the EMF, spirit boxes, EVPs. Like those are like they have like this. There's one that's not talked about. It's kind of a newer one. It's like this beep one.
The
It's like
beep
a
one?
color one. So like red is are you here? Green are you evil? Yes or no? Like the yes is green, the no is red.
Ah,
Right?
okay.
So it goes beep boop beep. It's almost like a color pattern thing. It's kind of cool. I don't remember what it's called, but it's you might be able to find it.
I can use a Simon Says
don't-
board game and just use that to communicate with the ghosts.
Man, like yeah, like EVPs are creepy, man, because it uses radio signals pretty much,
Yeah.
and you just hear the and you hear voices pick up here and there.
Yeah.
So man, oh my god, I remember this one guy. I recommend this guy. I watch Mind Seed TV. Awesome paranormal investigator. I know, he's like the best in my opinion. Like they go to the most messed up places around in the States. And I remember one of the guys actually got pulled away, like ripped. Like he was just standing there, like someone was pulling his shirt across the whole room.
Oh my god.
He's like, I'm done. He's like, I'm done. I'm walking out of this house. Dude, sorry. The door literally slammed as he tried to get out. And he's like hyperventilating everything. He's like, no, I am done.
Someone did not like that. The spirits did not like that guy.
So like, yeah, like, and they also have electromagnetic field detectors, to find, changes. And then like the 360 Connect. That's another thing too they use. Because it captures body movement, and it's kind of weird. Like sometimes like there'll be an instance where there'll be like how like gamers use like developers use what do you call it? Like 3D scaling or whatever, and they got like the little dots and lines and stuff as it's moving.
Oh no,
to make
isn't
3D
that
shapes.
isn't that more like like motion tracking and all that stuff?
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's like they're using a 360 Connect, and you can see it, or it might be an Xbox One. I could be wrong. Whichever.
No, well, yeah, 360 and the one had the Connect, but the Connect that we mostly know is the one on 360. It has the one with the dots and lines and all that stuff.
Yeah, so like they'll use that to like capture like ghost movement and everything. Like there was one where there was like one that ran across the screen that was really creepy.
Oh my god.
Like it just ran. I was like, yo. But yeah. That's pretty much all I got for that.
It reminds
boxes and stuff too.
It reminds me of like when one of the episodes in Ghost Adventures, I forgot what place they were investigating, but they used a device that was like that. Where like it uses the the dots and the lines to track the body basically, which I'm surprised it works on the spirits as well. This one spirit though loved hanging out with them. Like it was one of those friendly spirits, and It
Right.
communicated with the people, like it was communicate like visually communicating with the group, like Zach and Anthony and the others, like pretty good. Um, and it was I think it was on stage. So this spirit was basically a performer. And
Oh
when
wow.
Zach was like, "Hey, why don't you dance for us?" The spirit literally just started dancing. You would hear like music in the background, like in the edits. It was like they were shocked, honestly. And then, like after it was
That's
done dancing, the
ridiculous.
spirit bowed and then disappeared.
Wow. That's
Like
actually cool.
that was,
Like it's
yeah.
sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
It's creepy, but it's like, there's always friendly ghosts and stuff, but like
Yeah.
you got to be careful because they can always manipulate you.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, man, I would, as much as I'd love to. It's funny because my work's haunted because the upstairs used to be a brothel, right?
Yeah.
And the basement, it's a friendly ghost. It's old. This is 1800s, man. Like we're talking old.
Yeah.
And they, upstairs had like this woman touching people when they were sleeping, and you could feel like a cold breeze at night, and woman like touching your neck. I guess people said. The basement, sometimes kegs would like go. Psss, you know what a keg is, right?
Yeah. It's
For like alcohol and stuff, beer,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. Okay. I was making sure. So I don't know. Some people don't know.
I might be
I just
young,
like
but
to
I'm old enough to
clarify.
know about those things, you know?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So like, it's like an old wine cellar almost. You know, old. And stuff would go flying. Like whenever I had to take boxes of soda.
Yeah.
And carry it upstairs. And I'm like, as I'm getting up the stairs, I hear something go flying across the room, and I'm like, "Is this normal?" And my boss is like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I'm good. I'm going upstairs."
You just hear "wake," like in Alan Wake 2.
Oh yeah, wake.
Oh my god! Like imagine you just hear that. Oh my god.
But I will never set up an EMP, or not EMP, like an EMF or like an EVP in my restaurant, dude. Like I will never do it because I just can't, because it's just unsettling because it's just so quiet.
See, this
I
is
hate it.
see,
No.
this is why. Whenever I visit Wisconsin, I want you to take me to that place. Well, first, I want us to get the technology so that we can do a little investigating ourselves. You know, obviously, first want to get approval for your boss.
Oh
For us
yeah,
to do this. But
she won't
it
mind.
would be pretty cool actually if we do that.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome. Like another thing is too, I'll take you to my old town in Burlington. There is this rumor or something like that. The railroad track system leads to hell. That was a thing.
Well,
So I don't know. It was something. It was like a portal to hell. I've heard about it, and it's like all of these railroad tracks just lead to hell. Like every single one of them, like just leads to this underground hell.
so are we talking about like the ending scene of Drag Me to Hell, or like you have to be on the train
Well,
to go to it?
I don't know. Like it's a thing I've been hearing all my life as a kid, and I don't know if it's true or not, but everybody's been talking about it. It's
Yeah.
just.
Well,
I
anyway,
don't
so
know.
yeah, we started derailing to haunted areas again, which don't get me
Sorry
wrong,
about
it's
that.
really fun to talk about. So I have a website here where it basically
Okay.
goes more into detail of each technology that it's not
Mhm.
all of the ones that they use nowadays, but they're the most
Yeah.
common ones that they use.
Yeah.
One of them
covered
being
most.
EMF meters, electromagnetic field meters. What they do
Yeah.
is that, you'll be in a room, you hold it out, and if there was basically spirits there, they could be near this like needle that would be at the top, and they can make the whole thing spike. And you would know it would get
Yeah.
spiked. And technically you wouldn't even need a detector like this to know there's spirits in the room, because it could be really cold in there. Like it could be hot, like not hot, but like, it could be like warm room temperature in one room. Then you go into this haunted room, it'll be cold no matter what. And if
Yeah.
you were to bring out the EMF meter, it could spike, which means that there is a spirit in the room with you. And the reason why they have this is because, a lot of people, believe that these spirits produce, electromagnetic fields around their spiritual body, I would say. And these
Yeah.
meters basically help detect it. The other thing they use was a thing called a gas meter. And they're basically a more sensitive version of the EMF meters. And it's, which is designed to measure even smaller fluctuations in the electromagnetic fields that, basically compare against safety standard limits. I don't know if it's on the same spirits in general or if it's like a more active spirit, I would say.
Yeah.
But this technology though is my favorite whenever I see Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, and other paranormal investigation shows, spirit boxes. And you talked about it before, when we first started talking about this. Basically,
Yeah.
this device rapidly scans through different radio frequencies, like, and it's like it continually both scans AM and FM frequencies without stopping. And at some point throughout this whole rapid changing frequency thing, you can hear a voice pop out, So like you could cover it, ask a question, and the thing is loud. So, it's loud. So you would have to like, cover it in order for the spirit to hear you ask your question, unless they already know how to hear you. And then you would uncover it. The frequency switching will be really loud. And at some point you'll hear the spirit answer the question, if they know how to do that. And this isn't the only and now this isn't the only way you could hear the spirit. Like with the spirit box. The other thing that they use is this little device called an EVP recorder, short for electronic voice phenomena. Now, this one's more quiet. However, because you can't actually hear the spirits talk to you, this little thing can. So you would record the, random length of time that you're in the room, asking the questions, and then, I don't mean like asking questions every second or so. You would have to like wait a minute after you ask a question, and then ask another question. And then once you think it was enough time, you would stop the recording and then play it through the speaker. And then it's from there in the playback, that's where you'll hear the spirit. And I gotta say, for both the spirit box and the EVP, especially for Ghost Adventures, you're gonna hear me talk about these guys a lot, by the way, if you haven't noticed. They have a lot of good evidence from both the spirit boxes and the EVP. Hilarious enough is when Anthony uses the spirit boxes and you get to see his shocked look, like his signature shocked look, like after he captures an evidence of a spirit talking through it. And this is pretty much all this. It's pretty much all the technology lists that this website features. Like I said, there's different there's different ghost hunting crews, paranormal investigators, and all that stuff. They have these kind of technology, and over time, they're gonna get different technology that would sometimes works better than the other ones. I remember one of them. This isn't listed in the website. I remember there's one of them that, once again, the Ghost Adventures crew uses. I know they're not the only ones, but they're the only ones I could talk about because that's the show I watch religiously, basically. They have a technology where, in the night vision at least, you could see like this device. It's like a motion trigger, I would say. And on the wall, you would see like a bunch of like dots that are all over the place. And this device can help detect spirits walking by like a hallway, for example. And once like the dots, like some of the dots disappear, that's the device. That's the device capturing a spirit walking by, and it would beep, basically letting the people know, hey, there's someone walking by here. And I don't know if it's like a beep or if like the light changes, but it captures spirit movement. Not like captures like camera, you could see it, but like, shows like real-time proof. And now sometimes you don't even need this kind of technology. You could just get like a static X camera, just put a camera on a tripod and then leave the room. And then, just to see if it's true that it's haunted. Sometimes you'll be lucky enough to see a spirit interact with an object around, like the same way, like somewhat like Paranormal Activity, that movie, but not as hectic as that. You could probably see like a teddy bear turn to the side a bit, or like a ball just slowly roll around. maybe a wheelchair can possibly back up a bit, like I would say 2 inches. Either way, you'll get some evidence that there's a ghost in that room, and it can confirm that yeah, the place is haunted. What's your take on all this stuff? Skinless.
All this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I did kind of cover most of the, well, not most, but like
Well,
the
yeah,
majority of what they use. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're starting to use more dated technology now. Like technology's gotten so far advanced that I wouldn't be surprised if tell me if I'm wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if they made like a 3D like hologram of the ghost talking to you.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
God.
Like a box. That would be something else. I'm sure it will happen one day, but yeah, man, it's crazy. You can actually do it on your phone. You can actually go on like a EVP box.
That
on
would
your
be
phone,
okay.
But
I just say for the 3D modeling that you mentioned about, like in the future, if we get that technology, that we could just see what the spirit of that person looks like. That would be kind of terrifying, actually. If it's like a demonic spirit, and you get to see like you know how AI generated images like have terrifying looks. I think it's something like that could happen. That would be the most terrifying shit we would ever see.
And if you're talking to like a demonic spirit and its like face is like ripped off, I'd be like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna throw this thing away. I'll pass. I don't need to see its eyes gone. I'm good. Pass. But that could happen.
Like, yeah, I'm moving out.
But,
all right.
yeah,
Good to know. All right, bye.
Jeez.
Oh man, I got to say these topics that we talked about, I might not have talked a lot, especially for abandoned areas and also the cults, mostly in the abandoned area when I try to talk about the island. But you know, had to keep this podcast interesting, you know, with different topics. The next one in the next episode, I'm not going to say what we're going to talk about, but I am really looking forward to talking about these three. Immortus, I'll tell you about it later on. And hopefully this time, shut up, phone. Jesus, this scared me. I pooped a little. All right, anyways. So hopefully this time, you know, the next episode, Taya would actually be with us, you know, if she's feeling well and also if her work is not on the way. If not, then, you know, you have us too. So the podcast can continue on whether or not any of us are available.
Indeed.
Hopefully. But that's it. That's all the time we got for the podcast. Well, I mean, that's all we got to talk about for today's episode. Once again, just leave a like, comment about, you know, your favorite abandoned area, cults, and even a little fact that you know about paranormal investigators that we don't know about. Any final thing you want to say, Immortus?
Yeah, sorry if I sidetracked a little bit, but you know, that's off script. You know, I just say what comes to mind when I think about this. But I hope you guys enjoyed, because I did.
Yeah, I'm loving this podcast, even though this is at the time where I need to get my shit together because I still have to upload episodes 3, 4, 5, and 6. Man, I am not making this easy for myself, but yeah, I'm gonna make sure that they're uploaded. Hopefully by the time I get this uploaded, they'll all be there, you know. Right. But you know, just gotta, you know, I'm trying. That's all I gotta say. Like I'm trying. So yeah. So once again, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe for more podcast episodes like this. Will this podcast get its own channel? Maybe. Hopefully. I just need to know how exactly. What's up?
Sorry, I know we're trying to end this, but maybe in the near future we can do this podcast with video. Maybe one day.
Ooh, with video, that would be
like
interesting.
A vlog. We could do a vlog podcast one day. In the same state, and we can explore the haunted places in my town. So.
That could be bonus episodes. You know what? I can make that for bonus episodes. You know, how fucking cool would that be? I have a video camera, so you know, we just have to get together, and that's possible. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, once again, thank you guys for watching, and till then, keep your fears and anxiety levels high. We hope to see you guys in the cabin again very soon. Have a good night. Want to say bye?
Sorry, I farted.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, guys. All right.
All right, goodbye.